Welcome to How You Livin', a transformative podcast featuring best-selling author, inspirational speaker, and minister, Dr. Rick Rigsby. And now, Dr. Rick.
Hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to talk to you about a topic that is just not for everyone, but I really believe that everyone might be able to benefit. This topic is for those of us who struggle with lust. Now, as soon as I say lust, we immediately think of sexual lust. However, a strong sexual desire is just one definition of lust. According to Merriam-Webster, the complete definition of lust includes a powerful longing, an intense desire or need, a severe craving. You see, friends, here's the reality. We lust after anything we think will offer strong feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. Those things can include money, status, power, position. We can also lust for success, fame, food, drugs, alcohol. I know those who lust for spending and shopping, wanting something so badly that we'll justify doing anything to satisfy that craving. I mean, just look at our present day landscape, right? We go, and do, and spend, and buy. And how does that leave us? For the most part, it leaves us frustrated and irritated and agitated and empty on the inside. And yet, this cycle feeds our desire to crave even more. This podcast episode is not designed to condemn or to judge, but if what I've said thus far appeals to you, stay with me just for a few minutes. I called this episode Divine Habits, spiritual habits designed to help us battle those areas where we struggle. You see, I really believe that we all struggle in one way or another. Our challenges are different, large measure based on our personalities. In fact, sometimes our greatest strength can even expose a significant weakness. I'll use myself as an example here. Friends, my struggle is with pride. I have struggled with pride as long as I can remember, certainly since my days as a television news reporter back in the 70s and 80s. Specifically, here's my battle: a lust for attention. Interestingly, one of my greatest struggles is also one of my greatest strengths, a strength that has resulted in me speaking all over the world as I have garnered the attention of audiences everywhere. For the last few years, though, I've been on a personal quest to address and control my lust for attention. The roots for this episode began while reading James Clear's outstanding book, Atomic Habits, How Small Changes Can Produce Massive Results. The book is titled Atomic Habits by James Clear. It is well worth the read. But since reading Clear's book, I've become convinced that small habits really can produce seismic results. I've also become more aware of my behaviors, negative behaviors, all designed to get attention. But with no plan of action, with no strategy to implement, my thoughts have become just thoughts. I know one thing: as long as my desire for something is stronger than my desire to make a change, I'll remain trapped on that wheel of repeating the same actions and then crying out, "Dear God, why in the world did I do that again?" Sound familiar, anyone? Everything came full circle to me recently. First, let me tell you how I start my day, and then what happened will make sense. My morning routine includes a time of prayer and a time of meditation, worship, and Bible reading. Some days I'll even read an entry from Oswald Chambers' classic devotional titled My Utmost for His Highest. The format of the book is quite simple. Chambers takes one scripture for each day of the year and offers an application that I frankly find life-changing. It's simple, yet profound. In the entry dated June 15th, Chambers discussed the Apostle Peter's words found in his second letter, that we ought be partakers of the divine nature of Christ. In other words, we should diligently pursue godly habits, something I call divine habits. Oswald said, concentrating on forming these habits will add character to our lives. And that's when it hit me. When I read those words, they felt like marching orders from on high. You know, I don't know if I'll ever overcome lusting for attention in this lifetime, but I felt like Chambers' words gave me a strategy that I could apply daily, a strategy that would help reduce this strong craving in my life. You see, friends, I just no longer desire to be that person who's always craving attention. I need help. I need divine help. You know what's interesting? As a pastor, I have preached countless sermons on the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life. I have preached so many sermons on humility that I know the verses by heart. It's time to start living them. In the words of one of my favorite Barry White songs, it's time to practice what you preach. Come on, somebody. You know, I've never attempted to apply a daily strategy to counter lustful actions. Oswald Chambers challenged me to move beyond thought and take intentional action. Daily actions, divine habits, biblical habits that I practice daily that counter lusting for attention. As an example, allow with me to share with you just one habit. It's my first divine habit. It's titled Valuing Others Above Myself. If you're interested, the scriptural basis is found in Paul's letter to the church at Philippi. And even if you don't read the Bible, just know this: the Bible is filled with wisdom and practical common sense advice. For example, listen to Paul's words in Philippians chapter 2. Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourselves. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interests of others. Valuing others above myself means that on this very day, friends, my motives are not going to be self and self and self, that I have to think about others. I will walk in humility this day. I will regard others as more important than myself. Wait, there's more. I have actually pinpointed a weak link in my day, every day. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I need to for the sake of accountability. That weak link, it's when I talk with others. I can't wait to interject my thoughts, my opinions, my excitement. I think I interject somewhat out of excitement. It's my personality. I think I interject somewhat to connect with what the other person is saying, but in large measure, truthfully, I'm competing, friends. I'm competing for the spotlight. I'm competing for attention. I got to tell you a story. I recently played golf with a few buddies, and afterwards we were having a great time bragging about all our shots, and we were talking up a storm, telling all kinds of stories. I noticed that just two of us were doing all the talking, me and another guy. My silent friend had the biggest smile on his face. Let's refer to him as Jim. Jim was just sitting back, just laughing and enjoying the conversation with the biggest smile on his face and not saying much at all. Let me give you the backstory about Jim. He's one of my closest friends, and years ago, he revealed to me a struggle that he had had for most of his adult life. I was shocked to hear that he used to hijack every single conversation. And then he had an awakening. He realized that this was not the kind of character he wanted to display. This was not the kind of behavior he wanted to model to his family or to be known for. And so, for the last several years, Jim has purposely and intentionally worked on this weakness. Now let's return back to after our golf game. Jim is just sitting there enjoying. He is laughing. He's laughing so hard that tears are coming out of his eyes. I mean, he's genuine, right? You know what hit me? He had no desire to interject, no desire to prove anything, no desire to interrupt. He was enjoying everyone else's company. Friends, here's the truth. I can't remember any of that braggadocious conversation after the golf game. You know what I do remember? My friend Jim and his strong desire to put others first. Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourselves. Oh my, if I can just value others above myself and practice listening more than speaking in my daily conversations, my character is going to improve, and I may even find that my lust for attention will be significantly challenged. In the coming episode, I'm going to share a few more divine habits. But for now, let's value others as more important than ourselves. We just may be surprised by the results. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Until we meet again, this is Dr. Rick, asking the most important question I can ask. How you living?
Are you ready to make an impact in your world right now? Do you want to stop existing and start living your best life right now? Dr. Rick wants to give you the first chapter of his best-selling book, Lessons from a Third Grade Dropout, absolutely free. Just go to www.rickrigsby.com/free gift to get the print or audiobook right now.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.